Have you ever found yourself saying, I just don't bounce back like I used to? Maybe you've noticed that small changes in your routine, like skipping a meal, forgetting to drink water, or even staying up a little too late, now take a bigger toll than they did years ago. If so, you're not alone. After 60, the body becomes more sensitive, and certain habits we used to brush off can slowly start chipping away at our well-being. Now, here's the thing. Most of us rely on doctors to tell us what we need to know. But the truth is, not every issue gets discussed in a routine checkup. And some of the most common health mistakes, they're so subtle, they often go unnoticed, until they start showing up as fatigue, stiffness, memory fog, or worse, a preventable emergency. That's why today, I want to talk with you, not at you, about 4 health mistakes that sneak into our lives after 60. These are the kinds of things many doctors don't bring up unless you ask. But by then, the damage may already be underway. So let's get ahead of it, together. Let's start with something that seems harmless, even relaxing. Sitting too much. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm retired, I've earned the right to rest. And that's true. You absolutely have. But here's where things get tricky. Prolonged sitting isn't just about being still. It actually affects your circulation, weakens your muscles, and can silently raise your risk for everything from blood clots to heart disease. The worst part? It doesn't feel dangerous. You can spend hours watching TV, doing a puzzle, or reading a book and not feel a single warning sign. But inside your body, things are changing. Your hips tighten, your spine compresses, and the muscles that keep your balance steady begin to weaken. It's not about avoiding sitting altogether. It's about interrupting it. Set a timer for every 30 to 40 minutes. When it goes off, just stand up, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms above your head, or walk around the room. That little burst of movement is like waking your body back up. It keeps your blood flowing, your joints lubricated, and your mind more alert. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, Nancy, used to spend most afternoons in her favorite recliner by the window. She's a bright, joyful woman, but she began to notice her legs felt stiff every time she stood. At first, she blamed it on the weather. Then her doctor mentioned early signs of muscle loss. The solution? A short walk around the house every hour and a few gentle leg lifts during commercials. Within a couple of weeks, she felt more stable on her feet, and even had fewer headaches. So, if you've been spending most of your day sitting, it's not too late to change that. Small movement breaks can protect your strength and independence for years to come. Now let's move on to something even more subtle. Ignoring your thirst. You might be surprised to learn that as we age, our bodies stop sending clear thirst signals. In other words, you might already be dehydrated long before you feel thirsty. And that matters more than you think. Dehydration after 60 can cause fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and even contribute to falls or memory problems. Many seniors I speak to chalk up those symptoms to aging, but sometimes it's as simple as a lack of water. You don't need fancy sports drinks or flavored waters. Just plain room temperature water is best. Sip throughout the day, even if you are not thirsty. A good rule of thumb? Take a drink every time you check the clock or get up from a chair. If you're not sure if you're getting enough, pay attention to your mouth. Is it dry? Is your skin feeling papery? Are you going to the bathroom less often than usual? These are gentle nudges from your body that it needs more hydration. And if plain water feels boring, try infusing it with a slice of lemon or cucumber. Herbal teas count too. Just be careful with caffeine, which can actually dehydrate you more. I met a gentleman named Roy at a senior workshop last fall. He kept forgetting words mid-sentence and thought it was early memory loss. Turns out, he was barely drinking 2 glasses of water a day. Once he upped his intake, his thinking became noticeably clearer. His doctor called it a brain fog fix. Roy just called it getting my words back. These small shifts, standing more often and drinking water, may not sound dramatic, but they work silently in your favor. They're about protecting your balance, your brain, and your body's basic needs day after day. They give you the best chance at staying sharp, steady, and strong. And that brings me to a mistake that's especially common among older adults who pride themselves on being low maintenance. It's one many doctors overlook, because they assume if you're not complaining, everything must be fine. But not checking your vitamin and mineral levels regularly? That's a risk worth talking about. You see, when we were younger, our bodies were more forgiving. Miss a few meals, eat a little too much fast food, forget your vitamins for a week? You'd bounce back pretty quickly. But after 60, your body doesn't just take the hit. It stores it. Slowly, quietly, and sometimes with consequences you don't even notice until much later. One of the most overlooked dangers is low vitamin B12. It's essential for brain health, energy, and nerve function. And yet, many older adults are walking around with undiagnosed deficiencies. Why? Because the body gets less efficient at absorbing B12 from food as we age. Even if you're eating well, your stomach may not be pulling in what it needs. A lack of B12 can look like a lot of other things. Fatigue, tingling in the hands or feet, mood changes, forgetfulness. Sound familiar? It's often mistaken for depression, aging, or even early dementia. But sometimes, all that's really missing is a little boost in B12. The good news is that it's easy to correct with supplements, a quick shot from your doctor, or B12 fortified foods. The key is to get tested. Don't assume you're fine just because you eat meat or take a multivitamin. Ask your doctor for a simple blood test. It takes minutes, and the clarity it can bring is worth everything. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about another unsung hero: magnesium. This quiet mineral supports everything from sleep to muscle function to blood sugar regulation and bone health. And yet, many older adults don't get nearly enough. Magnesium deficiency doesn't always scream for attention. Instead, it shows up as restless sleep, muscle cramps, irritability, even heart palpitations. If your body's been feeling off and you can't put your finger on why, this might be part of the puzzle. You can add more magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, almonds, avocados, or beans to your meals, or take a supplement if needed. Just check with your doctor first. Now I know, some of this might sound like detective work. And maybe you're thinking, I'm doing fine, why fix what isn't broken? But here's the thing. At this age, our health is like a house with a few aging floorboards. It might stand strong today, but a small shift, left unnoticed, can cause a big collapse later. And that leads us into another common mistake I see far too often: skipping regular strength training. Yes, you heard me. I'm not talking about lifting weights at the gym or becoming a bodybuilder. I'm talking about using your muscles intentionally, gently, and regularly. Because without it, our muscles begin to shrink. It's called sarcopenia, and it starts as early as our 30s, accelerating each decade. By the time we reach our 60s, that muscle loss can start to affect everyday tasks: climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, lifting a grocery bag. And if we don't fight back, the body simply adapts by doing less. But here's the beautiful part. Your muscles want to work. They respond even now, even in small ways. Body weight exercises, light hand weights, resistance bands. These simple tools can help rebuild strength, protect your joints, and keep your metabolism humming. You don't need fancy gear or a personal trainer, just a consistent habit. A friend of mine, Geraldine, started doing wall push-ups and leg lifts at home while she brushed her teeth. It took her less than 10 minutes a day. Within a month, she said her knees hurt less and her arms felt steadier when she carried her laundry basket. The body rewards consistency, not intensity. It's about showing up, not showing off. And if exercise has always felt like a chore, here's something to think about. Movement isn't punishment. It's a celebration of what your body can still do. A walk with a friend, dancing to your favorite song in the living room, stretching before bed. It all counts. It all adds up. So we've touched on sitting too long, missing hydration, overlooking vitamin and mineral levels, and ignoring muscle strength. Each of these things on its own may seem small, harmless even, but together, they shape the way you age. They decide how much freedom you have, how much energy, how much peace of mind. And here's what I really want you to hear. Aging doesn't mean fading. It doesn't mean giving up or getting by. It means getting smarter, more intentional. It means asking the questions no one else is asking for you. Because this is your body, your life. You have every right to feel strong, steady, and clear-headed, to laugh without wincing, to sleep deeply, to walk confidently. These aren't luxuries. They're the foundation of your well-being. And if no one's told you that recently, let me be the one to say it. You deserve that kind of life. Let's talk about one last mistake, one that hides in plain sight and wears the disguise of being careful. It's something many folks over 60 do without even realizing it, and the result can quietly erode both your physical and emotional health. It's the mistake of avoiding change. Now, I know change isn't always easy. After all, when we've lived a certain way for decades, there's comfort in routine. There's safety in what's familiar. But sometimes, that safety comes at a cost. You might be sticking to the same foods you've always eaten, even though your digestion has changed. Or you might avoid trying new hobbies or meeting new people because it's too late for that. You might even skip new technology or health tools because they seem overwhelming. But here's the truth. Resisting change can age us faster than time itself. Think about your brain like a garden. The more you nurture it with new experiences, the more it grows. But if you let the same old routines repeat, year after year, those neural pathways start to shrink like neglected plants. That's when memory begins to slip, when creativity fades, when you start feeling like the world is moving on without you. I knew a gentleman named Carl, 74 years old, who hadn't left his neighborhood in over a year. He'd stopped driving, stopped trying new things, and insisted that he liked it that way. But underneath that insistence was fear. Fear of making a mistake, of being uncomfortable, of feeling lost. When his granddaughter finally convinced him to try a free online art class, just one, something changed. He laughed. He made a mess. He hated the first painting. But he came back the next week. And now, 2 years later, he sells hand-painted greeting cards at the local craft fair. Not because he needed the money, but because it brought him joy. You see, change doesn't have to be massive. It can be something small, trying a new recipe, listening to a podcast, learning how to use a video call. Every time you challenge yourself just a little, your brain takes notice. It wakes up. It thanks you. And that's something no vitamin or exercise routine can replace. Staying curious. Staying open. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? That's a fair question. But what if you don't? What if it becomes the highlight of your week? What if it opens a door you didn't even know was waiting for you? After all, you've spent your whole life growing. Why should that stop now? Now, let's pause here for a moment and take a breath. We've talked about sitting too much, forgetting to hydrate, missing key nutrients, skipping strength training, and avoiding change. And I know it might feel like a lot, but you don't have to tackle all of it at once. The beauty of this journey is that even the smallest shift can ripple into something bigger. Stand up during the commercials. Keep a glass of water next to your favorite chair. Ask your doctor to run a vitamin panel at your next visit. Try a 5-minute stretch or walk before breakfast. Sign up for something new, even if you're nervous. These aren't just health tips. They're invitations. Invitations to live with more intention, more connection, and more possibility. And here's something else to remember. Your health is not just about avoiding illness. It's about creating a life you feel good inside, a life with clarity, energy, and peace. Too many people over 60 get stuck in the idea that decline is inevitable, that pain, fatigue, and forgetfulness are just part of the deal. But that's not the whole story. Your body is still listening, still capable of change, still eager to support you if you support it. And your mind, your beautiful, complex, brilliant mind, is still hungry for challenge, beauty, laughter, and love. Aging isn't about closing doors. It's about opening different ones. So, if today's message stirred something in you, even just a little, I want to encourage you. Follow that nudge. Don't let it pass by. Choose one thing to shift this week. Just one. And then next week, maybe choose another. This is your time. Not to retreat, but to reimagine. Not to shrink, but to stand taller than ever. Remember, health isn't only about what happens in the doctor's office. It's about what happens in your kitchen, in your living room, in your heart. So, be kind to yourself. Be curious. Be willing. And if this video meant something to you, if it helped you feel seen or inspired, please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories, your questions, or even your hesitations. This is a community, and your voice matters here. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content designed with you in mind. Because yes, you deserve to feel strong, joyful, and confident at 60, 70, 80, and beyond. Here's to living your best life at any age.